1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Geetanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The Chinese government assures to extend their utmost to overcome the economic as well as COVID challenges in Sri Lanka. The Department of Government Information says that the government has sufficient food stocks to meet the demand of the people. 437 vaccination centres open across 23 districts today. The Minister of Health issues instructions to monitor the medical oxygen requirements for COVID-19 patients and to take necessary measures. A maximum retail price on rice and sugar to be imposed from today. The government to hold talks with Catholic Church to resolve issues. The Parliamentary Business Committee to convene today. International news, the UN warns of Afghan food crisis as Taliban parades seized weapons. Sports cricket, Sri Lanka takes on South Africa in the first of the three-match one-day international series at the R. Premadasa Stadium. Local news in detail now. The chairman of the National People's Congress and China Speaker Lee Jiangxu has assured his Sri Lankan counterpart Mahinda Abewardena that the Chinese government will do its utmost to help overcome the economic challenge as well as the COVID challenge in Sri Lanka. The chairman of the Standing Committee and Speaker of the Parliament of the PRC pledged China's assistance at the first diplomatic meeting held yesterday between the high-profile delegation of the Parliament of the People's Republic of China and the Parliament of Sri Lanka. The meeting, which was held through video technology, was attended by a number of high-profile officials of China. The Speaker of the Parliament of Sri Lanka highlighted that the Sri Lanka-China bilateral relations have grown from strength to strength since the establishment of formal diplomatic relations in 1957. Furthermore, the Speaker thanked China for the support Sri Lanka has received in facing the COVID-19 pandemic. The government has rejected rumours that there is a shortage of essential food items such as rice and sugar in the country. Issuing a statement, the Department of Government Information says that the government has sufficient food stocks to meet the demand of the people. The statement further read that information has been received that some fraudulent traders hide stocks of essential food items such as paddy, rice and sugar in order to make profits by selling them at higher prices later. However, the statement said to defeat such anti-people efforts as the Public Security Act and the provisions relating to the provisions of essential food items were enacted last Monday. Therefore, the government appeals to the public not to have any undue fear that there will be a food shortage, the statement stated. 437 COVID vaccination centres operated by the Ministry of Health is continuing throughout all districts in the island today. Accordingly, Sinopharm jabs will be administered to people in Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Galle, Matra, Hambantota, Nuwara, Matale, Ratnapula, Kurunegala, Polonnaruwa, Anuradhapura, Monragala, Badulla, Jaffna, Mullaitiya, Kilinochchi, Ampara, Kalmune and Trincomalee district. The second dose of the Moderna vaccine will be rolled out in all MOH areas in the Kandy district. AstraZeneca first doses are delivered in the Kagala district through all MOH officers and mobile vaccination teams. People living in Venapur and Dankotua MOH areas in Puttalam district will receive the first dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine today. More details on the inoculation centres operated by the Health Ministry can be obtained from its official website health.gov.lk. The Minister of Health, Keheliya Rambukwala, has issued instructions to monitor the medical oxygen requirement of patients undergoing treatment at hospitals for COVID-19 and to take necessary measures. The Health Minister said medical oxygen should be supplied to coronavirus infected individuals without any shortage and has called on health authorities to take necessary technical decisions without delay. The Minister said the daily requirement for medical grade oxygen has increased significantly, adding that attention has been directed to obtain necessary stocks. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The government is to hold talks with the Catholic Church to resolve issues and address concerns linked to the Easter Sunday attacks. His Eminence Archbishop Brian Udegway, the newly appointed Vatican ambassador to Sri Lanka, paid a courtesy call on the Foreign Minister, Professor G.L. Piris, at the Foreign Ministry. During the meeting, the Foreign Minister explained that one of his first duties in his previous portfolio as Minister of Education was to confer degree awarding status to the Benedict XVI Catholic Institute at Bolapalana, Negombo, which was built by the then Defence Secretary and present President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the armed forces. The minister also expressed deep sorrow and the great deal of pain and suffering undergone by the Catholic Church due to the 2019 Easter Sunday attacks and the need for justice to bring all those who were responsible before the law. The Committee on Parliamentary Business will convene today to decide on the agenda for parliamentary sitting scheduled for upcoming weeks. The meeting will be held at the Parliamentary Complex from 2 p.m. Parliament is due to hold a special sitting on Monday for members of Parliament to raise oral questions. Furthermore, the Business Committee will deliberate on the agenda for the sitting to be held on the 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th of September. Meanwhile, the Select Committee on Election Law and Electoral Systems Reforms will also convene today at the Parliamentary Complex. A special expert committee has also been appointed to deliberate the proposals submitted to the Select Committee pertaining to election law reforms. The State Pharmaceuticals Corporation says Sri Lanka will receive approximately 12 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines within the next 2 months. The SPC chairman, Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, stated that a total of 8 million doses of Sinopharm vaccine and 4 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine are scheduled to arrive on the island during this period. According to official data, Sri Lanka has received more than 23 million COVID vaccine doses to date. Over 20.6 million COVID jabs have been rolled out in the country so far, with more than 8.1 million people being fully vaccinated. 2 Sri Lankan photographers have been able to achieve the dream of their lifetime, with their photographs being among the highly commended images in the contest BBC Wildlife Photographer of the Year 2021. Under the category of Behaviour of Mammals, the image titled The Great Swim by Buddhilini Disoisa was selected. The next Sri Lankan photographer was selected under the category 10 years and under, with Gagana Mendis Wickramasinghe being awarded the accolade for the photograph named Lockdown Chicks. For the contest, over 50,000 entries from 95 countries were submitted, where 2 Sri Lankans' own were selected to be among the highly commended images. And that ends local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The government has announced that it will impose a maximum retail price on rice and sugar from today. The State Minister of Cooperative Services, Marketing Development and Consumer Protection, Lasantha Alagiwana, said the relevant Gazette notification will be issued. The State Minister further said the public will be able to purchase sugar seized from various parts of the country at a new rate from Satus outlets, cooperatives and supermarkets in the coming days. He added, the government hopes to reduce prices of sugar in the domestic market within a short period of time. And that was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watch Light.
The decision on whether to extend the imposed quarantine curfew is set to be announced tomorrow. The Health Services Director General, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that a special meeting of the COVID Suppression Task Force will be held tomorrow under the chairmanship of the President to take this decision. The quarantine curfew was imposed on August 20th to control the spread of COVID-19. It is scheduled to end at 4 a.m. on the 6th of September. And that came to you in Watchlight.
World News.
The headlines: UN warns of Afghan food crisis as Taliban parades seized weapons. Israel warns US over plan to reopen Jerusalem consulate. Brazil Supreme Court weighs landmark indigenous land rights case. World news in detail now. The United Nations has warned that Afghanistan could face a food crisis within a month, leaving 1 out of 3 people hungry as the country's Taliban rulers try to form a new government to run the country. The UN humanitarian coordinator in Afghanistan, Ramiz Alakbarov, said the situation in Afghanistan from a humanitarian perspective continues to be extremely tense. The group paraded in Kandahar some of the military hardware, including Humvees and armed fighting vehicles they captured during their takeover of Afghanistan. Israel has said that the United States planned to reopen its consulate in Jerusalem that could destabilize Prime Minister Naftali Bennett's government. The previous administration of US President Donald Trump signaled support for Israel's claim on Jerusalem as its capital by moving the US embassy from Tel Aviv and closing down the consulate. It was among several moves by the Trump administration that incense Palestinian leaders who want East Jerusalem as the capital of the future state. President Joe Biden has pledged to restore U.S. ties with Palestinian and back a two-state solution. Brazil's Supreme Court has heard arguments for and against a cut-off date for land claims that indigenous people say are vital for their survival, while the government advocated for legal certainty for farmers in the agricultural powerhouse. The top court weighed on Wednesday whether a state government applied an overly narrow interpretation of indigenous rights by only recognizing tribal lands occupied by native communities at the time Brazil's constitution was ratified in 1988. Indigenous people danced and chanted outside the court as they anxiously watched the proceedings on an outdoor screen. Back to the headlines of the world news. The UN warns of Afghan food crisis as Taliban parades seized weapons. Israel warns US over plan to reopen Jerusalem consulate. Brazil Supreme Court weighs landmark indigenous land rights case. And that ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin pellets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In development news, the road from Lankagamma to Nellore, adjacent to the Sinharaj World Heritage Site, has been constructed without harming the ecosystem. The Minister of Highways, Johnston Fernando, said 98% of the work has been completed and will be vested with the public soon. He noted the guidance extended by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to complete the project. The construction work of this road was carried out by the Engineering Corporation of the Sri Lanka Army under the direct supervision of the Road Development Authority. And that was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin pellets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Sports news. Cricket. Sri Lanka will take on South Africa in the first of the 3-match one-day international series in Colombo today. The game, slated to be played without any spectators, will get underway at the R. Premadasa International Cricket Stadium from 3 p.m. Sri Lanka will be led by Dasun Shanaka today, while the visitors will be captained by Temba Bavuma in the absence of Quinton de Kock. Still on cricket, England are mulling over their pace options for the crucial fourth test against India at the Kia Oval beginning today. Sam Curran could drop out of the side that won the third test with Chris Wokes and Mark Wood in contention after returning from injuries. Moeen Ali has been named England's vice-captain with Jos Buttler missing for the birth of his second child. The series is level at 1-1 with 2 matches to play. And that was Sports News.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Foreign Ministry of Sri Lanka, in collaboration with Sri Lanka Tourism, recently hosted a virtual business-to-business interactive session with the member states of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building Measures in Asia, or CICA, with the aim of enhancing tourism cooperation in the region. CICA is a multinational forum for enhancing cooperation towards promoting peace, security and stability in Asia. The forum, which was focused on the importance of and benefits of international collective efforts and collaborative endeavours to create a sustainable tourism sector post-pandemic, was attended by over 100 industry experts from 27 member states. And that was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka states that the reserve value of US dollars in Sri Lanka has increased by $937 million US dollars. During August 2021, Sri Lanka received its share of the global SDR allocation by the IMF and the initial disbursements under the bilateral currency swap arrangement between the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the Bangladesh Bank. The IMF distributed a total SDR allocation equivalent to $650 billion US dollars among its member countries on 23rd August 2021 in proportion to their existing quotas in the IMF. This provides additional liquidity to the global economy. These foreign exchange receipts help improve the country's gross official reserves while enabling the central bank to further facilitate the liquidity conditions in the domestic foreign exchange market. And that was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report. The Meteorology Department forecasts cloudy skies to prevail in the northern, north-central, eastern and central provinces. Several spells of showers or thunder showers will occur in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts and in a few places elsewhere. Moreover, the Met Department predicts showers or thunder showers at several places in the northern, north-central, eastern and Uva provinces, especially in the evening. And that was the weather report. To end this news broadcast, back to the headlines. The Chinese government assures to extend their utmost to overcome the economic as well as COVID challenges in Sri Lanka. The Department of Government Information says the government has sufficient food stocks to meet the demand of the people. 437 vaccination centres open across 23 districts today. The Minister of Health issues instructions to monitor the medical oxygen requirement for COVID-19 patients and to take necessary measures. A maximum retail price on rice and sugar to be imposed from today. The government to hold talks with Catholic Church to resolve issues. The Parliamentary Business Committee to convene today. International news, the UN warns of Afghan food crisis as Taliban parades seized weapons. Sports cricket, Sri Lanka takes on South Africa in the first of 3-match one-day international series at the R. Premadasa Stadium. And with that, we end this news broadcast.